Everybody, I'm here. I'm joined with Mr. John Miedrech, who is EVP of Baseball United. Thank you so much for being here with me and to talk a little bit about what Baseball United is. Thank you for being here.
Well, Jennifer, really appreciate the opportunity to be here and share a bit about Baseball United. We're excited about what we're doing. We're excited to bring the game to 1 billion people on the other side of the globe. So exciting stuff to talk about today.
Yes, Baseball United, for those of you who don't know, has begun a baseball league out in the Middle East in the U of A, and it's going to be something that's very interesting to see baseball played out in the Middle East. You have a lot of former major leaguers who are part of the organization. We just recently saw the news that Albert Pujols was named global ambassador for Baseball United. Can you talk to me a little bit about first how all of this got started?
Yeah, Baseball United started as basically a bunch of crazy guys with a dream to grow the game of baseball. I mean, when you look at our executive leadership team from our CEO, Kash Shaikh, on down, we're lifelong baseball fans, and we really saw the opportunity. There's no better time than now to bring really America's pastime to an area of the world with a very, very, it's a very young, vibrant, sports-loving part of the world. And, when you look at what the NBA has done, when you look at what the NFL has done, we're left scratching our heads. How come baseball hasn't been able to, be brought to that region of the world? So, it really started as this vision and dream to really grow the game, share America's pastime with the really, quite frankly, the bat and ball epicenter of the world. As you know, cricket is the number one bat and ball sport on earth. There's 2 billion people in the landmass that we are focused on, which is the GCC, right? The Middle East, the greater Middle East, and the Indian subcontinent. That's a footprint of 2 billion people. Of that 2 billion people, 1 billion of those people are cricket fans, the number one bat and ball sport on earth. And when you think about baseball and cricket, there's so many transferable skills and tools and talents. Like, you hit the ball, you field, you run, and you throw, the same as you do in cricket. So there was just kind of, when we started this journey, it was all about, trying to bring the game to this region of the world and these cricket loving people. And what we realized after doing so much due diligence and really studying the region, we were blown away by the amount of actual baseball fans that do exist in the region. So that was really exciting to hear. So although we're still continuing to focus, on converting some of these cricket fans to baseball fans, really what we're doing in the real short term is really tying into the baseball fans that exists, which is a number of about 65 million baseball fans, avid baseball fans exist in that part of the world today.
And something that obviously is very smart is to get former and current Major League Baseball players involved. And that's what you guys have done. I've seen, some of the co-owners, Barry Larkin, one of my friends, King Felix, and Miguel Tejada, Adrian Beltre as GM and Miguel Tejada as the manager, right, out there for one of the teams. So how were those connections formed?
In our ownership group, Kash and myself have spent, many years, working in the business of baseball. We have very strong relationships. One of the things that was early on critical for us, from a credibility perspective, is to go out and get some really strong minds. When you look at the players or the ex-players that we have involved, obviously many of these guys are Hall of Famers. When you talk about King Felix, arguably the best pitcher in the history of the franchise of the Seattle Mariners. So when you talk about the caliber of players that we brought on when they were in their playing career, obviously second to none. But we also were targeting guys that we believed were great ambassadors and represented and so respected off the field as well. So it was important for us to go out and get the right people, not just any players, but the right players. So you mentioned some of them. We also have Mariano Rivera, Barry Larkin. You mentioned Beltre. We have Elvis Andrus. Miguel Tejada is one of our managers. Albert has came aboard as well as our global ambassador. So really, it's that strong relationship that we had for many years. And to be quite honest with you, all of these guys have a passion to grow the game and are passionate about giving back. So, when they hear about what we're doing and we get into the weeds with what we're doing in Baseball United, for them, it's kind of like a no-brainer, right? It's a way to give back. It's a way to help grow the game, that has done so much for them. So every one of these guys has been so inspired to be a part of this. When you think about from a business perspective, number one, we're growing the game, right? So we have a clear path to grow the game of baseball. At the same time, through Cash's business acumen and the business acumen of the leadership team, we really have a strong business model in place to really grow the game, create a strong business. But what's so inspiring when we talk to all these legends of the game that we've, brought aboard this endeavor, every one of them, and this is honest, a true statement, every one of them is so inspired about growing the game and teaching the game to the youth on the ground in this region. So what's so inspiring for us is how inspired they are to really interact and help and teach kids. So really exciting stuff on that front.
And I mean, on my behalf, as a Latina, as a Dominican, to see so many Dominicans and Latinos involved in this project is really inspiring, because we get to see them in another facet at executive levels, right? We know that in Major League Baseball, there's still some lack. There's still some growth that needs to be met and made when we talk about diversity in those executive offices. So to see them be at that top level is really, really inspiring, and I know will inspire a lot of others.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure if you know this, but Baseball United is actually the second minority-owned sports league in American history. So, the majority of our ownership is minority-owned. So, we take a lot of pride in that. We take a lot of pride in giving opportunity, to people from all walks of life and all races and creeds and genders. So we're really inspired by that. And that's something we're committed to. When it comes to the Dominican Republic is really close to my heart. Everything I know about the game of baseball, I learned in Santiago, Dominican Republic, in my baseball academy. I actually started my journey in baseball over 15 years ago down there when I was just philanthropically, helping out little leagues, and then seeing the passion and the excitement on kids' faces when, they receive a new bat or a new glove or a new pair of cleats, things that are secondhand here to us in the United States. So it was so inspiring to be a part of that, and then to grow that into an opportunity to own a development academy where I signed, some players to the professional ranks. Unbelievable. And there's so many great baseball minds in the Dominican Republic. When you think about the Dominican Republic and the landscape of baseball, 1 in 7 professional players hails from the island of 10 million people. So it obviously, from an intellectual property perspective, they're doing something right. So for us not to tap into that would be foolish. So that was an important piece for us as well here in Baseball United.
Now, speaking about the teams in Baseball United, how, and I'm sure that a lot of people are very curious, how are the players going to be scouted, or how have they been scouted?
Yeah, so we have a great, scouting component under our baseball operations section, which I run. Eddie Diaz, who is actually a Dominican American, who's very famous in the Mexican baseball world, is my vice president of baseball operations. We have a strong associate scouting network set up globally. One of the most important components of what we're doing, as really a bucket of difference for our league compared to so many other leagues around the world, is we really look to have a vast sampling or representation from across the globe within our rosters. So, through our associate scouting network, we set up a database of over 800 players. Out of that 800 players, let's call 785 of them who've played at a professional level. Some of those players have played, 10 or, call it a decade or two in the major leagues. Some of the players have, only reached maybe the independent ball level. And then a small portion of those players maybe have never played professionally, but they're the best player on their, respective national team. it's important for us to have a really diverse representation on our roster, because as Baseball United committed to growing the game in this new region of the world, we believe it's important to have, some kids, some strong players from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, from the region represented on our rosters. Because, what we really feel is important to growing the game is inspiring the youth on the ground in these regions. So if we can take a player and really give him the opportunity to, show his skills and play at the highest level within our league, that's going to be an inspiration to the kids on the ground from the area that player comes from. So that's an important piece of what we're doing.
And now I would imagine that the hope is to, at some point, have players scouted from the Baseball United teams and be scouted and maybe traded or brought over to Major League Baseball.
Yeah, so we have a great, relationship with Major League Baseball, and one of the things that we're very, very clear about is, we're not looking to compete with Major League Baseball. The time of our season is going to be in the traditional winter ball time period. So, from a player, acquisition perspective, it's not really in conflict with what Major League Baseball has done. We're very clear. What we're trying to do is grow the game of baseball. As we can inspire kids on the ground within this landmass of 2 billion people, as we can inspire kids to pick up a bat and a ball and a glove and play the game of baseball, baseball wins, baseball benefits. And, it's our dream, quite frankly, to see some of those players eventually from those, different areas go on to play in the major leagues, because currently today, as I'm sure you're well aware, there's really no South Asians represented. There's nobody from the Middle East. There's nobody from India, Pakistan playing in the major leagues. And as we create our, top-down approach, which is the professional league, but at the same time, we're building that bottom-up grassroots development and inspiration piece. We believe that, in the future, there truly is a chance that one of the next great players will come from this region. So absolutely.
Now, you very quickly, I mean, the months are coming. So November is what I read will be the exhibition games, correct?
Yeah. So November 5th through November 12th, we're going to be hosting Baseball Week in Dubai at Dubai International Stadium. A lot of that is going to be based around fan engagement, community engagement. We're also going to be hosting a national team tournament. So if you think about there's 141 baseball federations set up around the world. The top 20 play in the World Baseball Classic. Really, after the top 30, they're what Kash and I call the forgotten nations of baseball. So some of the regional national teams, the Indian team, the Pakistani team, Bangladesh, Nepal, Palestine, and some of the other teams from the region, we're going to be hosting a tournament on the ground in Dubai as well. And then the headliner of that Baseball Week is going to be our first 4 franchises playing 4 professional games at Dubai International Stadium. So we're really excited about that.
That sounds
first time ever in history, a professional baseball pitch will be thrown on the Arabian Peninsula. So exciting stuff.
Yeah, no, it sounds amazing. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I will wait for my invite.
Absolutely.
No, but it does. It sounds like a lot of fun. And like you said, it is a part of growing the game. And that's something that Major League Baseball has been trying to do for a very long time. They have the London series coming up. They played in Mexico. So just to see this happen in the Middle East is going to be very interesting and a lot of fun to watch the growth of the game over there.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at coming off the heels of the World Baseball Classic, where, those games from an excitement perspective was second to none, as, we were at some of those games. It's just an unbelievable environment. And really the current time for international baseball has never been better. I mean, that's when you look at the WBC from just a statistics perspective, they surpassed, whether it's viewership, attendance, just unbelievable. So to work off the momentum that, the WBSC, Major League Baseball, and all the other entities that were involved in the WBC, that show they put on to kind of carry that momentum forward into the Middle East. And then, as you said, you mentioned the London series, just another great example of the game growing globally. You know, when you look at the demographic, we talked about the demographics earlier on, but when you look at the demographic in the target area that we are, that we're going to be launching in, you know, just look at the ages. The average age of a citizen in these countries is unbelievable. So the average age of a person living in the GCC is 31 years old. The average age of a person living in India is 28 years old. The average age of a person living in Pakistan is 24 years old. So these are some of the youngest, most vibrant sports loving communities on earth. So there's no better time on the heels of the World Baseball Classic, on the heels of this London series, to bring this game to a young, vibrant community that loves sports.
Yeah, and you're right. As far as the WBC is concerned, the numbers are there. They prove it. I mean, even on my platform, reaching over 1 million views within just those couple of days of creating content covering the WBC, it's amazing to see the fan bases around the world really engaging with the game and engaging with social media, engaging with everything, all of the coverage surrounding the World Baseball Classic, and being able to see all of these different countries participate in this game is really incredible to see. And who knows, hopefully one day we will have one of the teams from the Middle East participating in the WBC.
Absolutely. That's one of our internal metrics to really score ourselves and our own, how good we've been as a business. One of those, KPIs we have is the national team rankings of the teams within our, region. So yeah. As we do our job to launch what we're doing as this professional league top down, as we work with these baseball federations, we actually have agreements, partnerships signed with the Federation of India, the Federation of Pakistan, to help grow the game, to help develop players in that region. We have these exclusive agreements already signed with these organizations, and we're continuing to expand on that. And one of our major criteria to determine our own success is those national team rankings. So if we do our job right and really support and help them in player development, much of the IPs that's coming from the Dominican Republic to do that, and really to know how to develop players. If we are successful, and we believe we will be in the region, then we truly believe those national teams, as they continue to get more developed and better players, their rankings will be better in the world standings, and hopefully in the near future get some of those teams into the WBC.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. This has been a great conversation. I hope to see more and more of you and other faces involved in the Baseball United organization, because it just means that you guys are doing the right thing.
Well, Jennifer, really appreciate your time and platform to be able to share what we're doing, growing the game of baseball, as you are as well. So check us out at baseballunited.com or at baseballunited on Instagram. We're really excited about this journey, and we believe that this is the right time in history, really, to grow the game into the region of the world that we're going to be launching in November.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.